welcome again to the When I Wanted Out talk show. You already know this is a platform where we promote meaningful relationships through storytelling. My name is Teleola Kola-Edun. I'm your host. And today we're discussing a story titled, My Sister-in-Law Conspired with My Husband and Took My Children Away. Now, this sad story is about a woman who got married into her husband's family house and lived with his sisters and other relatives in the house. The husband seemed to be under the control of the relatives and deferred most times to what his family wanted. Now, she kept having problems with the sisters. One of her sister-in-laws conspired with her husband to teach her a lesson by taking her children away from her. She did not know where her children were for a week, but eventually found them in another relative's house with the help of a friend. She has, however, stayed in the marriage for 33 years because of her children, and she no longer tolerates abuse from her husband because now she has become financially independent. Now, to discuss this really pathetic story with me are Pastor Charles Okebuna. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Titilola Akilawo, my mom.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you very much. So we're going to dive right in. I will start with you. What are your thoughts about living in the family house?
Well, I believe that taking it from the biblical injunction that a man shall live and cleave to his wife so that the two can become one. That, I think, is the fundamentals of any successful marriage. If a man does not leave his family, he will never be able to cleave to his wife, and then the two can never become one. And that is a recipe for disaster in any marriage.
Pastor Charles, do you support this notion, or do you have a different understanding of this family house living?
No, I don't. In actual fact, I have a broader perspective, not a different
broader perspective.
So
okay.
I do agree completely that a man must leave his father and his mother.
Yeah.
So there's no controversy around that expectation. The broader perspective would be, what does it mean to leave? There are people who leave physically.
Yeah.
But they're still under the control
of their
brothers,
parents,
their sisters, or their parents.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how old they are. The fact is, they defer to these people, and sometimes their parents hear what is happening before the spouse even hears. And other times, the parents have the final say, and then the wife is informed about the position. When they reach a decision, then he comes back and says, well, I've changed my mind. And when he says he's changed his mind, it's because
there's something about it.
So physically, they don't live together, but they physically live apart. But when the Bible says a man shall leave his father and his mother, did it mean only physical living?
Physical living,
so
okay.
I want to just broaden the perspective to say that what we want is not only physically living, but being able to ensure what's the intent. As a lawyer, they always ask you.
But that's great. Both of you are lawyers. So yes.
They say, what's the intention, the objective of the law? Scripture will say the letter kills, the spirit gives life. So why did they say a man should live? The purpose of living is so that they can forge a united front without interference. That's the purpose. So
I think I really like that whole concept of living physically, living emotionally, living,
Yes. That's the way it should be.
Yes.
But even if you live physically with them, you may live emotionally.
Right.
You may live in the same space with the family, but you really have no business with the family. Because you see, the whole idea is that you are supposed to form a fresh and start anew a family. So in the situation where you live in the same space, but you must be man enough to be able to draw the line. There are boundaries in marriage. You have to learn to cleave to your wife. And if you cleave, you have no business with the family. It is your own space, even though you may share the same physical space, but emotionally, you should have a cutoff.
Okay, so what if the man just cannot draw the boundaries with his parents? You're living in their house, maybe the back house, but the man doesn't have what it takes to tell his mom that enough is enough.
Well, then the man is not man enough to get married. If you're not man enough to stand your ground with whoever, you have moved away from the appendage of your mother. That appendage should now be tied to your wife. So your wife should take priority over your mom. And that's why you'll find out that in the Anglican church, if you get married in the Anglican church, they always call out the mother of the husband. Yes.
Oh, now they do that.
They do that in the Anglican church during wedding ceremony. They called out the mother of the, and they talked to her that, look, listen, now you have finished your job on this guy, let him go. He's now going to be tied up with his wife, and they will visit you and do the needful.
So now, if I'm married to a man right now, there's someone out there now, and she's married to a man that the mom has control. She lives in the family house. The siblings, the mother is controlling her house. What should she do?
She needs to play to her strength. Women have strength.
Okay. When you say play to our strengths, what does that mean?
Switch the focus.
Okay.
From the irritation of his mother's interference.
Okay.
So how do I influence my husband? How do I impact my husband so that I become the kind of person who is not easily offended and the kind of person no one wants to offend?
So how do I do that? Now, a young girl, what do I do? I just, practically, what do I do?
Right. So if you're constantly saying, is your mom, you see what your mom is, you're not a man. Every time you say that,
you're pushing him away.
He continues to validate the fact that it's not his mom and that he's man enough. Okay. But if you stop that pushback, for example, and you ask yourself, why did I marry him?
Okay.
Or maybe he's intelligent. You're the most intelligent man I've ever met.
Okay.
So confident.
Okay.
You're a man of your word.
Yes.
Whenever I see you, nobody can make you do what you don't want to do. And then he now comes and says, I don't like the way my mother behaves. You say, really? Rather than say, have I not been telling you? I've been warning you don't listen to me. Because you don't listen to me because you see me every day. Is that not so? Oh, really? You say, yes. Because, the other day you cooked, was saying the food was salty. Can't she just eat her own food? Is that what she said? You say, yes, it's wrong. Yeah. So, it's a reverse psychology because you're going to have your own sons. And you're going to have influence over them. Why do the sons cutting up to their mother? They're cutting up to their mother because their mother is their greatest cheerleader. Their mother will say, Isaac Newton, he went to school. The teacher said to the mother, this boy is a dunce. He cannot learn. The mother said, I will teach him myself. Come. Took him home and started to school him. The greatest physicist on earth. Ben Carson will come home. The mother will look at his books and the mother will say, the difference between you and all the other children who are bright is that you can be better. Meanwhile, they were at the bottom of the class. And then she will say to them, okay, we're going to change the way we do things in this house now. Instead of you to come home, eat, drink, and go out, play ball, come back and sleep. No. From now, you go to the local library, read a book, and then at the end of the week, give me the summary. This was what his mother said to him. And when they did that, they brought the summary to her. She would say, oh, really good, very good. Until he became a neurosurgeon, did he realize his mother could not read.
But I kept cheering him on and making him feel like
that man will die for his mother because of the influence. Every time you say to him, your mother is not good, he remembers when he was nothing and his mother told you, when his father even told you, you won't amount to anything. And the mother will come in the night and say, it will be well with you. You will not be ashamed. You will be great. I believe in you. So in the way,
personal hype man.
Right. So that's why they say that the monkey no fine, but the mama like her.
This is, I really love this conversation. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to tune in deeper into this issue of how to manage your home.
Are you in a relationship leading to marriage? Are you happily married or married with difficulties? Are you having issues with your in-laws? Are you unsure of what next to do in your marriage? If yes, join me, Kola-Edun, every Wednesday on the When I Wanted Out talk show, where we promote meaningful relationships through storytelling and we unpack real-life stories with real people. You don't want to miss it. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all other social media platforms. Thank you.
Welcome back. This is still your show, the When I Wanted Out talk show. We're still here with our amazing guests talking about how you can win your husband slowly from his mother. And so Pastor Charles was just telling us how you need to become his hype man. You have to play to his strength. You have to hail him on the one that he's very good at, leave the one that he's bad at. And hail him so much that he will forget the appendages to his mom. So would you say there is anything, would you say that there are good family interferences? Your in-laws, would you say they are good?
Well, naturally, in life, there is always two sides of a coin. There are pros and there are cons. Having good relationship with your in-laws, it could be beneficial. I mean, if you have good in-laws that could assist you with raising the children. When we were growing up, we grew up in Agbole, in a large compound. You have family members that were there to support the mothers, to raise the children, even neighbors. So it's not just a negative thing. It could be positive, but it's just that it's like now I look at it that we're in the end times, and it's so difficult to know people. The Bible says the heart of men are desperately wicked. So we really do not know who is true and who is bad. In a situation, there was in the social media, a mother-in-law that took her grandson to sell for ritual purposes. So in such a situation, I mean, naturally, I would be very weary of leaving my child with any family member. I haven't seen that. It was graphic. The mother came back, the mother entrusted the child to the mother-in-law. I'm going to the market. Coming back from the market, the child was nowhere to be found. And she started wailing and howling. And somebody said, I saw the grandmother taking the boy and what have you. Well, until they started beating the mother-in-law before she confessed that yes, indeed, she took the child to the malam, You know, so in such a situation, otherwise, because I mean, it's unimaginable that a mother or a grandmother would sell his or her grandchild. You know, it's so that's why I said we're in the end time. So in such a situation, it might not be the best thing to leave your child with any family member. I would rather tie my children round my wrapper and carry them everywhere with me because, like I said, the hearts of men are desperately wicked. We do not know.
Wow, that would be a very hard place. If your husband says, why aren't you leaving the children with my mom? Why is it always your mom? You know, how do I even want to even win him back on that conversation that, don't know.
In this case, that they took the children away, I would say that the husband in that story is actually not matured enough to be married, not to talk of being a father. Because I cannot comprehend a situation where a father would agree to
having his children
taken away. And you know, like I always say, a bird cannot fly with one wing. It can only fly with the two wings. So for the child to be a balanced human being, needs to be nurtured by the father and the mother, not by an external person. Both of them should be there to nurture the child. If one is absent, the child naturally will become dysfunctional. And that is the problem we have in this society today. Many homes are broken.
Right.
So the children are dysfunctional. They can do, if they're not into drugs, they're into Yahoo or Yahoo Plus or that or armed robbery or kidnapping and what have you. That is the basic problem that we have in the society today.
So mother and father need to work together to raise these children. So here is where in the story we hear that the husband will not even allow her put family pictures in their house because of the sister. Because the sister is divorced or one of them is divorced and they shouldn't show their own joy in the house. There's someone that is living with a man like that now. They are under direct control of sister or mother. How does she navigate? To this woman in this story, what would you have advised her to do?
Well, you see, there are various stages of her life. She's been there 33 years.
Yes.
You know.
But that was around like the early years of their marriage before she insisted that they move out.
Oh, I see. Okay, so things have changed now.
Yes.
You know, every tree at some point sheds off its leaves.
Yeah.
You don't pluck the leaves, you just let it. You know, so many people may start from an uncomfortable situation, an unlikely and unnatural situation. It is our ability, actually, to survive those improper, unnatural, strenuous situations that develops us. Okay, so how's the normal order of things? Husband, wife, fresh house, no interference, children. That's the normal order. But will it always be like that for everybody? Maybe not. So when it's not like that for you, do you succumb? Do you react? Or do you respond? You know how it is about that, it was a butterfly in its cocoon. And someone saw the butterfly struggling, trying to come out and said, just a little support will help it. And then helped tear the cocoon. And then the butterfly got out and said, I've helped it. And he noticed the butterfly was just moving and he couldn't fly. And then he realized he had damaged the butterfly for life because that struggle inside the cocoon was strengthening his wings. And when the wings are strong enough, the cocoon will just, by itself, tear open and then it can fly. So if a woman finds herself in that situation, she needs to ask herself, why did I get married? How do I first survive this situation? How do I thrive in this situation? What can I do? Now she has children. What can I do? So what happens is a lot of people don't move from survival to thriving. they just stew in the survival stage. Oh no. So they're not able to enjoy the moment. They're not able to look at things from a place of gratitude. I can tell you, there are many women out there who would say, I'd rather be in that situation and be married than in my 5-bedroom duplex alone. So, with food that nobody's eating. Are you following? And then you will say, no, I want that 5-bedroom. Everybody, the grass always looks greener on the other side. So you got what you want. Say, what am I grateful for? Okay, I have a husband. What am I grateful for? I have a child. What am I grateful for? I have a community around me. What am I grateful for? How do I be the kind of person they don't want to punish? Because that sister took those children away to punish her. Yes. Who do I need to become? So that if a person even tries to punish me, the person won't be able to sleep at night. Because we keep saying, what have I done? What has this person done to me to cause me to? Rather than every time they see me unhappy, they say, I think she's smart. Very good.
Do you have something to add to that?
Yes, I was just going to add that I concede to my brother here that it's the struggle makes you stronger. But you see, we all have different tolerance levels. Some people may not be able to stand that struggle. They would rather opt out of the marriage. But, and the very, very big but, is that the woman had no financial independence. Because, you see, if the woman had the financial independence and the muscle to encourage the husband for them to move on, he would have helped greatly. She needn't have gone through all that struggle for all those years. Now that she has financial independence, her children are matured, they have left home, she's now enjoying her home.
Well, we don't know if she's enjoying it. She has just adapted now, but...
No, but you see, the point is, you cannot live with a man. Now she says she has financial independence. She will have the respect of the family.
Right, and whatever she says is law.
She will have the respect of the family, naturally, because they know that she's capable. I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
Like my son will say, Grandmama, money will do the work. Oh, it's money. Let's do his money. Let's send money on an errand. Once you have money and you can stand on your own, you will naturally, it comes.
So a woman can garner respect with her in-laws if she's not dependent, like a leech on the husband.
Yes, she needs to earn respect. And then she also needs to buy loyalty.
That's it.
Please, can you unpack the buy loyalty for us? How do we buy loyalty?
There are 3 things you can use to buy loyalty. And they are the 3 scarcest resources on earth: time, energy, money. I mean, if you come into a place and the security guard is there, and when you're leaving, you give him 500 naira. You say, thank you.
Yeah.
Or they give you 2 packs of rice. You give him 1. Whenever he sees you, he sees somebody who was kind to him. And like I said, there's time also. There's money, and then there's energy. A story was said of the lady who, every time she comes, she sees the security man, she will say, Baba, good afternoon, how are you? And she will go. When she's coming in the morning, Baba, good morning. And she will come in. And then they were working in an enclosed facility that, according to them, is ice. Yes.
Freezer.
And then the whole thing, that day they forgot she was inside. And she was going to freeze to death. But the only reason why the man remembered is that she's the only one who greets him whenever she comes to the gate. So he said, this girl hasn't. I saw her go in. I didn't see her come in. And they've locked the door. As he was walking in, I heard her shouting. And that was why. So buy loyalty with your in-laws. Buy loyalty with the people that matter. Don't say, I don't care. In this house, when I came, it's you people that came to bring me to this house.
Yeah.
So, that there's a level of teachability that comes with buying loyalty. There's a level of humility that comes with buying loyalty. So whether it's time or you spend with them or, tell me that story, or that you just walk past, they may be the story they've been telling you for more
every
than 30
time you
times.
come to
Don't worry,
visit,
sit
just
down and
sit
listen.
through it.
And you say, this one is a good girl. Always, but he said it's an old...
But that's very, very true. Particularly if the wife is well-read, and your in-laws are not that well-read, and you can bring yourself to their level at that particular time you are with them, spend time with them, do things with them, give them gifts, never forget you. They would always respect you. At least I employed that when I got married, and it worked for me.
I want to chip in on this one. There's a mother that I heard. The daughter-in-law, ìyàwó wa, ọmọ mi, all of that. Her son went to impregnate a woman outside. She went to go and do introduction for the new wife, but she cared for the one that was in the house. So this woman must have tried to buy her mother-in-law's loyalty because it was said that they were on good terms.
Hey, but that's no. You see, you cannot translate that to mean that
But she didn't tell the daughter-in-law.
You cannot translate that to mean that the mother-in-law did something wrong to the daughter-in-law. I wouldn't agree with you.
But to me, you would have told me that this thing happened and you now want to go and sit down and do introduction in another family.
You see, again, that it's not the mother-in-law's place
to tell
her. It is her husband's place to tell her. The mother-in-law, if the mother-in-law should come in to tell her, then she's interfering, which she shouldn't do.
But if you are loyal to me. It's me.
It's a question of loyalty.
It's not a loyalty issue.
It's not an issue in that regard. Does the mother-in-law who owes the daughter-in-law a duty to inform her that, your husband had impregnated another person? But the mother of the husband owes a duty to her son to go with her to ensure that the child is not an outside child. That's the bottom line.
I think you just want to ask yourself, what is the circumstance? For example, if a person is very rich, he doesn't do anything wrong in the eyes of those who he's caring for. So the man comes home and says he's going to go and marry another wife. The mother knows he's doing the wrong thing. But the mother in this context now does not know how to say don't go because she doesn't want to upset the son. Now, the only thing she can do is they should bring the wife. This is the girl I prefer, who is probably the first wife. Until you have, in the Igbo context, they say it's when a woman has married twice, she will now know whether this one was good or was really bad. So she following the husband to that place is dependent on several factors.
Right.
If it was like a matriarch, somebody who has influence in the family, she could have said, if you say you're going, I'm not going to go, as a sign of protest. But if she doesn't have that sort of leverage, she will go, but she will be showing her protest in other ways. Right. So it depends on the context.
Okay, fair point. So this has been quite insightful in the sense that you need to be your husband's hype man. You need to hype him on his strengths. And like our guest said, you need to cultivate your in-laws. To buy them with 3 things: time, energy, money. You have to do the needful to be able to win them over. And with that, thank you very much. Thank you to our wonderful guest. Thank you so much for this impactful conversation. Don't forget to join us same time next week. Thank you and bye-bye.